We're off to Castle Mistamere. Hello and welcome to the Battle and Barrow and Game 6 of Game 6 recap of our D&D campaign we're playing through, which is set in Mystara using a heavily modified 5e rule set, bringing in rules from all the different versions I've liked over the years. You know, I've played Beckme first, second, third, one game of fourth, and now are rules from all the versions I like, so it's a heavily modified version. And on that, let's have a character recap. We have the elf wizard called Witchy Poo, which is obviously not her real name. She's taken on the nickname the humans have given her, and she was training at a school of magic in Glantry, or the school of magic in Glantry, but she fled with a stolen magic book which she deemed was in the wrong hands. She is currently at level 3, and last session she found a higher level wizard's old spellbook and has been trying to study it but to no avail. Perhaps she needs help from a higher level wizard than her. Maybe the wizard Jasper could help that we met last session. Next there is the human ranger, who just goes by the title of Ranger. He's has a bit of a shady past and has only recently took to rangering to avoid a criminal element that he got mixed up with. Around other people he pretends to be drunk, even though in reality he doesn't even drink. He does this so other people tend to ignore him and allow him to move about and look about without interference. Him and the elf met on the way to Threshold in the Wilds and seem to have shared needs, and so continued to journey with each other. Those needs kind of being they want to avoid most people. He is also currently at level 3. There's also a player NPC, in the sense of he's not just a villager, he is a playing character that is an NPC due to the fact we only have 2 human players. He is Theodric the Cleric and a member of the Order of the Griffin, the military arm of the Church of Karamikos. He has joined them whilst they hunt down the vile Bargle, which is responsible for the murder of the Baron's niece, who was also a member of the Order of the Griffin herself. There is also a familiar that Witchy Poo has, a fairy dragon called Newt, who sounds sort of a lot like K9 from Doctor Who.
Mistress, can I help you, mistress?
And they also have Build a Pony, who they use to carry rations and any treasure. Now what I do is we have a system where there is a fee at the start of each gaming session if they are in town, and this covers the cost of living, such as accommodation, food, drink, restock of basic supplies such as rations and the oil for lanterns, and spell components, and we just deem that there's a price and they don't have to worry about that, just to speed things up. This time though it was higher than normal due to a shortage of spell components. They find out that this is because there was a delay in items coming down from the north in Glantry due to troubles in the north, especially around Castle Keep. In fact, on this they hear a few rumours as they're moving around town about the keep, and such as monsters that are in the caves of chaos nearby, monsters they're sort of stirring and causing trouble in the surrounding area, making it hard for supplies to get to and fro there. I also hear news that there is also a cult that seems to be taking hold around that area. An adventure hook. Last session they visited the ruins near town where Bargle murdered Alina and he had long absconded. They did stop a small army of goblins from trying to set up a stronghold in those caves, so that was good. The Baron said he had heard news that Bargle had been seen up in Castle Mistamere ruins, so that is where they head to. They set out on a sunny morning, and on the way to the castle they pass a farmer sitting on a wagon watching his workers till the fields. "Morning, how you doing?" He lets them know that recently he has seen lots of little dog-like men coming and going from the castle. It is not long before they reach the castle itself. They notice the outer gates have been removed and are covering a hole by a collapsed section of the wall and the inner gates are still there, and they are wide open. They stride towards the gates, and BAM! They are slammed shut, and a high-pitched laughing can be heard on the other side. Annoyed, the players try to go through the hole in the wall, with the ranger scouting up ahead first, but he fails to notice the insect-like creature underneath the doors in the hole that bursts out, a carrion crawler. In this battle, Theodric is almost taken out and gets paralysed. They do eventually defeat this monster and heal up. I was really worried at this point that I would lose Theo, and I quite like him as an NPC. This session, my dice were on fire with a lot of nat 20s all over the course of the day. I don't hold my punches or fudge my dice rolls, but saying this, I don't really want to kill any of the players either. So I was relieved when they made it through this really tough fight. Even Frank Mensa, author of it, said he felt like he made a mistake with this encounter. In the hole there are a few coins and a skeleton of a kobold. Searching that, they find a pouch containing a small plain brass key. Afterwards, the ranger stands on the rubble and the doors and notices little dog-like men hiding behind rocks and rubble in the castle courtyard. The players ask to be let in and they will spare them, but the kobolds, for kobolds they are, just laugh at them. Witchypoo asks who is in charge, and they all seem to think that each one of them is in charge.
I'm in charge. No, I'm in charge. What do you mean? I'm the boss.
This gives the players an idea. They deduce that these aren't the smartest creatures in the realm, and they get Newt to cast a illusion spell in the far corner of the courtyard and bellow, "No, I'm in charge." They did this to try and scare the kobolds away, but they keep their morale as they do this, but they all do turn startled in the direction of where the voice comes from. This gives the players time to run through the hole in the wall and have a surprise round of combat. They all use range attacks, and during the course of this combat, the combats use slings, not the best weapon, back at the party, and group up quite near the doors. And then when 6 of them have fallen, they rush into the castle keep itself. The players try the doors and they find they are not locked and are extremely rotten, and so they enter the keep with ease. Inside, they are in an entrance hall with 3 other doors on the north, west and east walls. They discover tracks leading to the north, but decided to head west first to make sure there's nothing going to sneak up on them. It's dark inside the keep, so they light a lantern. They come to a room with chairs and a table and an empty cold fireplace on the north wall. The ranger can't help himself and tries to have a look, and as soon as his torch comes near the fireplace, outbursts a giant bat. This combat went badly, with both the ranger and Witchypoo taking some damage, with the ranger taking the brunt of it. They get the giant bat to about half its starting hit points, and when it reaches this level, it flies back up the chimney. The ranger curses. Searching around, they find 3 silver spoons, which the ranger takes 1 of, and a bag of seemingly worthless dried peas, but they take them anyway. They continue west and enter a storeroom with lots of boxes, and behind them in the corner is a large chest underneath a hole in the ceiling, and sitting on top of this chest is the wounded giant bat from the previous room. It shrieks and flies towards them. The party all goes first and unleash a barrage of range attacks and take out the bat, which the ranger picks up the deceased thing by its feet and starts bashing it against the wall and floor, just to make sure it's dead after all the hassle it has given him. They then turn their attention to the chest.
"Who's there?"
A muffled voice comes from the chest. The party are a little bit miffed and answer,
"Is Bargle with you?"
"No, where is he?"
"Oh well, never mind."
And then there's silence. The wizard detects a faint illusionary magic around the chest, similar to what Newt cast earlier. They check the chest for traps and find none, so they fling it open, and inside, nothing. It's empty. The door on the north wall leads to a closet, and they find a hat box. It is tied with string, and the string has been coated in a poisonous substance. They sort of discover this, luckily the correct way, and they manage to avoid touching it, and they open it and find an old worthless hat. Removing the hat, they discover a valuable hat pin. At the far end of the closet is another door. This leads to a bedroom with a door on the north west wall and another on the east. The bed is cursed and will cause anyone that touches it to fall asleep, and then can only be awoken by either using the peas found earlier. I guess this is an allusion to the Princess and the Pea fable, or by placing them in another bed on the other side of the castle. I guess the bed was suspect looking because none of the players go near it. They quickly have a look on the east door, guessing this leads to the same room that the north door in the entrance hall would lead to, which it does, and it's just an empty hallway. And then backtrack to the northwest door of the bedroom, and this leads to a hallway with stairs heading down. They ignore the stairs and try the north door here, and they enter the best room in this level due to the silliness of it. In the centre of the room, there is a large log resting with one end on the floor and the other end up in the air, suspended directly above a simple wooden chest by a rope which runs through hooks in the ceiling and the wall, disappearing into the floor. And the players overthink this. You may be able to tell from the description I've just given that there is no triggering mechanism. The trap was designed by the not so smart kobolds we met earlier. The only way to trigger the log is to actually cut the rope, and after a short while trying to figure the trap out, it dawns on the players. With that, they remove the chest, open it, and find some coins inside. They then exit through the east door and come to a small room with a jackal-headed statue brandishing swords. Witchypoo guesses this is the statue of an old Hutakan being. Now, this statue is trapped, and as soon as someone touches it, it spins round doing a lot of damage. And no one touches it, and they exit through the door on the east. This is a large dining room with a fireplace on the north wall and a long table running down the centre of the room. On the table are what looks like gold plates. Not being able to help himself, the ranger, who has a serious magpie problem, picks one up. But unfortunately, it's not a gold plate, it's a plate covered in a small yellow mould. Luckily, he passes a saving throw and the spores puff harmlessly up into the air. But at this time, from out of the fireplace burst two harpies. They're song-charmed Theo and Newt, who the little dragon gets enamoured by their naked chest and keeps saying boobies, boobies a lot and not much else. A ferocious combat ensues. Witchypoo casts Burning Hands at 2nd level, doing 4d6 worth of damage and almost gets the maximum amount on her dice roll. After the harpies are dealt with, they send Newt in to investigate. She still is a bit charmed seemingly, and inside they hear her say, "Boobies, no, I mean chest." And there is indeed a treasure chest inside the fireplace, which is locked. They think for a bit and then remember the small brass key they found right at the beginning, and they try it and snick, it works, and inside are coins and, more importantly, 2 potions of healing, which they use as they took some major damage in the fight with the harpies. There are 3 other doors, there is, other than the one they entered from, 1 on the southwest and 2 on the east wall. They listen at the southwest door and can hear the sound of rats squeaking behind it. They kind of guess, looking at the map, that this is most likely just a small closet and leave it be. They try the southeast door, guessing that this castle seems to have a sort of mirror layout, which it kind of does, and this is most likely another closet. They don't hear anything, so they peek through, don't see anything of interest. They close the door and go to the northwest door, and this leads to another room with a Hutakan statue, and this one isn't trapped, but they don't touch it anyway. There to the east they hear scared kobold voices, but it doesn't seem to be that it's the players that they're scared of. They hear them in their broken common talking about dead things. As the players enter, their fears are forgotten and they attack the players, and it's an easy combat. It's the kobolds, probably the ones that run in from outside earlier. Tentatively, the players enter the south door, and it's a mirror of the corridor with the stairs on the other wing of the castle, and they don't go down the stairs yet. There's a door to the west, and I jigged the layout slightly as I wanted a winding corridor. It is actually sort of a closet which is separated by a wall, but I wanted to have it as one continuous winding corridor with the stairs and the door at the south. I wanted this because I wanted a Resident Evil 1 corridor for this part. Witchy Poo and Theo go through the door on the west, but Ranger doesn't follow them, guessing that they can sort of split up and meet back, looking at the layout of the map they've traversed, which is correct. Witchy Poo and Theo come to a wall with a fireplace on the south wall, and it's another bedroom, and this is the one that if the players fell asleep on the bedroom on the other side of the castle, that they could be put on and it would revive them. Whilst they are searching, the ranger turns the corner and comes in contact with 4 zombies, the dead things the kobolds were scared of and hiding from. Witchy Poo and Theo are out of hearing range and are blissfully unaware of this, and carry on around the castle and end up on the east hall to the east of the main entrance. The room on the other side of the bedroom, effectively. Ranger is still frankly fighting off zombies. Witchy Poo searches the fireplace and finds a silver dagger. Ranger downs a zombie, and 5e has this lovely rule for zombies where when they reach, my interpretation, when they first reach 0 hit points, they can pass a constitution test, and if they do, they regain 1 hit point. I play this up like a horror film, so the ranger downs the zombie and it collapses. He breathes a sigh of relief whilst there are still other zombies coming towards him, but the one he's just down twitches and then gets back up. It is a beautiful horror moment. Meanwhile, the others have reached the adjoining room and can now hear the commotion, so there's no time to search that suspiciously large crate that is buried underneath other boxes and crates. Theo desperately tries to kick the door open and slam whatever is on the other side. He fails. Ranger continues to slash at the undead. This time, Theo just tries to open the door and realises why he failed last time. It is because the door is pull and not push. At this point, Ranger puts the first zombie down for good. Theo tries to turn the undead and fails. Perhaps he is still under the effects of the Harpy charm that is putting him off. Witchy Poo casts Burning Hands again and takes out 2 of the zombies, but one gets up, now a fiery mess of undeadness. The combat is bloody with rotten flesh hewn everywhere, but soon the players are victorious. "Where the bloomin' heck were you guys?" the ranger grumbles. They return to the other room and push the boxes off the large crate and open it. And as they open it with a creak, it reveals a rotten corpse inside. Its eyes flick open and it rises from its resting place. One last combat breaks out and the players put the poor soul to rest once more. They have a short rest here to regain spells, heal up, and then they descend the stairs that are just in the corridor to the north. And our session ended here. I'm really enjoying this adventure. It seems to be going down really well. This is the last of the Beckme Redbox adventures, or inspired by the Beckme Redbox adventures, and it's going really well. So I'm looking forward to the next session, which is level 2 of Castle Mistamere. Hopefully we'll be playing that in a couple of weeks' time, because this weekend, as I'm recording this, we can't due to family commitments. But hopefully next weekend we can crack back on with this. But that is it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this rambling story. I'm trying to improve my storytelling capabilities. So bear with me. Each video is going to get better, I hope. If you liked it, do all that stuff that you have to do on YouTube. I don't know. But until the next video, guys, stay safe. Take care.